Hello and welcome to your daily reading for Friday, the 21st of December 2018. This is the day of winter solstice, so a very special day. On the southern hemisphere, the summer begins and everything is in full bloom, and the sun is the highest in the sky. And here where I live, on the northern hemisphere, the winter begins. The winter is coming. And we have the shortest day, the longest night. But also this is the beautiful holiday of invincible sun, because this marks the return of the sun here. And as I'm quite into pagan faith, well, I'm not a pagan myself, but I very much appreciate the past of my ancestors and what they believed in. I have a really deep connection with this holiday, with Sol Invictus, with it's called Święto Stania Słońca, which means the sun standing, because the sun stops in its escape to the south, and now it will stand for 3 days as far as I can remember, and then it starts to come back to us. So it's a great promise of spring and warmth and food and general abundance coming back to us after a very long and difficult period of winter. And what I have to say, winter is here. Winter is not only coming, it's already here where I live. We have snow. And it's a great coincidence that just yesterday I have received Game of Thrones Tarot. Winter is coming is absolutely known from this series and from the book that I read a long time ago, and I'm waiting for the final 2 parts, but I don't think they're gonna be written. So I'm happy that there's series, because probably we wouldn't know how this wonderful story ends if there wasn't a series. So I'm using it today. I'm gonna shuffle it a little bit more. I'm really happy with the quality of this deck. It's heavy, it shuffles wonderfully, it has a texture, and it really speaks to me. I tried it yesterday as it arrived. I made a few spreads, and oh, it speaks. It's very honest. It's very to the point. So I'm really curious what it's gonna show us. But first, I want to tune in to the energy. There's a shift in energy because we have Moon in Gemini. Let's listen to the air bell. It's here. Okay. And the sun is in Sagittarius. The last day of sun in Sagittarius. The fire bell. But this is the day when the sun moves into Capricorn. The first day of Capricorn. Here where I live, it's only a few minutes before midnight. But still. Capricorn. Winter is here. And I want to welcome you, winter. I am born in winter, so I had this moment, well, actually several years that I hated winter, but now I love it again. I think thanks to my husband, I fell in love in winter again. Okay, let's tune in a little bit more. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Sun, that you start to come back to us. Let's see what are the messages and what are the energies for this day of winter solstice, the 21st of December 2018, which is Friday. What are the energies for us? Who do we have here? The king of the night, the night king, the king of winter. Judgment. Snow falling. Page of Spears. And Queen of Cups. So, 1 major arcana and 2 court cards. Let's readjust the camera. And let me think a little bit. What is this day about? So, the first card. Winter has come, definitely, here. And it has come not in a very pleasant way. Judgment isn't an easy card, never. Because we can see people rising from the dead, always on this card. But usually, we tend to think, well, I tend to think, that they are brought up, that they are woken up from the death into a new and better life for them. Whilst the fate of those poor souls here on the picture is not clear for me. Well, as far as I know, they are still dead. They are just moved by the will of the Night King, of White Walkers. So perhaps the last season of the series will tell me something else. Perhaps there is a deeper meaning here, some sense of these risings. Definitely the Night King has a plan. He does what he does because he has a plan. He's on to something, but we don't know what it is. So there's great question mark here. We are at the brink of a new year, brink of a new era. Winter solstice is always the beginning of the new year, for me, when the sun starts to return. The new period, but what it's gonna be? I think there is fear around it today. How this season is gonna work for me, and I think it's important to ask yourself a question. Who's the master of my life? Am I the master of my life? Or is it someone else's will that is moving me? And I think in our civilization, in our Western culture, and generally in our world, it's a very viable question to ask. It's really important. I think we tend to forget, why are we here in this world? Are we here to work for someone else's wealth? Because many of us are used this way. Many of us don't even have a proper life because we are forced to work many hours, and then we try to fulfill our needs that aren't always ours. Sometimes they are just imprinted in us by society, by advertising, by marketing, by what they tell us will make us happy, which is absolutely not true. So there's a great chance here to really ponder upon it and to think, why do I want to live? For what? What is life? Is it just mechanical not thriving, mechanical survival, mechanical movement, and being a part of a machinery of this cold God? The Night King, he's a great metaphor for what's going on in this world. And it's really deep. So give yourself a moment or a few moments and just think about it. Why do I want to live? Why do I want to renew my life for another year? What's my purpose? Is it my purpose? What is my purpose? Not theirs. Okay. It's funny because sometimes I see, when I see how people are working their asses off and really forget to live among their work, they seem almost like nowadays slaves of a new era. Everybody tells you that you are free, but are you free if you have to work 10 hours a day and you're still not sure of your existence? I mean, you cannot afford living. These people are called working poor. There are a lot of them in the world. And even a lot of them in Europe, here where I live. A lot of them in America. This is the world. And do they have a choice? And it's funny that what we see here is a grey worm, I think, who was a slave. But now he's free. But he's doing the same thing he was taught to do. He was taught to be a warrior. And as a slave, he had no choice. But now he has a choice. And he decides to serve his queen because he thinks that what she's doing is right. So you can choose your queen. You have this privilege that you can choose, what do you want to serve? Whom do you want to serve? You're not a slave. You always can say no. You can always resist. You can always riot. I know it's difficult, but you can. We still can do it. We still have a chance to be alive. And that's a great news. Page of Spears is someone who only begins the journey, who sees the world at their feet and is ready to enter it with great enthusiasm and optimism. So, whom do you serve? And as a last card we have Queen of Cups. This is Sansa praying. And as far as I can remember, her situation here is hopeless. So she's praying out of hopelessness. There's nothing else for her here but to pray. She cannot do anything to better her situation. She can only hope that someone will help her. So it's like a final word. God help us. Universe help us in our situation. Because we have brought this world into the brink of absolute catastrophe and disaster. and we still serve the evil god. And some of us are awakening, but some of us don't. But we still can do something about it. So please help us. Mother Earth, please help us. Please awaken more people. The Earth will thrive, but we won't if we don't do something about it. I know it's it's an apocalyptic reading, but we are on the brink of apocalypse. And I mean the environment apocalypse. We have really major changes in climate, and it's going to spiral down if we don't do something about it. So let's pray. No matter what you believe in, just raise your thoughts and raise your heart and put your energy into a wish for making a world a better place. And ask yourself, whom do you serve? Or perhaps you don't have to serve anyone but you. Or perhaps you need to serve the earth. Perhaps we all need to serve the earth now in order to save ourselves. The optimistic part is that Sansa was praying and the rescue has come. And it has brought her into an even worse situation. It has put her in an even worse situation, but still she survived and she emerged wiser than ever and stronger than ever. So I always try to be positive in my readings, but it doesn't always work, you know. Sometimes the cards are harsh, and today they are harsh, but they also give a spark of joy and a spark of hope in all this. It's really hard to make a sunny reading having this guy as an opener. But difficult things and extinction of species and danger to the world we live in, it won't disappear if we only close our eyes and pretend that they are not there. They are there, and you need to acknowledge this, and you need to see this, and then you need to decide, whom do I want to serve? I am free. I can choose. All right. That's the reading for Winter Solstice. I hope you are all well. I wish you a beautiful holiday time. Let's welcome this wonderful energy of the solstice. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.